Sorcerers! Josh here, and today I want to talk about cards in beta. They're going to have new life breathed into them with the release of Arthurian Legends. While everyone's out here all excited about all the new Arthurian Legends cards that we're going to be getting, what I'm thinking about is, how is the meta going to change with these new cards, and what cards in beta are going to see new life, or perhaps just use, that they have not really been seeing because of only having the beta set. So, there are a number of cards that I have in mind, and I'm going to go through those today. The first card, the obvious one, the easy one, the one that everyone's thinking about, is Elementalist. The Avatar Elementalist is going to start seeing a ton of additional play because of all of the multi-element cards that have already been previewed. And I am certain that there are numerous additional multi-element cards. And one of the easiest ways to get around all those thresholds is to use the Elementalist. So it's almost a certainty that we are going to start seeing Elementalist entering competitively into the meta that we're seeing. So if you haven't picked up an Elementalist, or heaven forbid, if you want a foil Elementalist, which has already went up in price significantly, I recommend getting that now, because once we get post-Arthurian Legends, I think that card's going to go up even more. And Avatars obviously already come at a premium, even if they're not used that much, just because everyone likes the foil version. Well, a lot of folks like the foil version and want to have it. So, Elementalist, number one. Next, we'll go into some minions. Now, there's not a lot of minions to talk about because I feel like you need to know what else is going on with minions. But the big one, the one that everyone's already thought of, Azure Ridge Caravan. Obviously, with Excalibur being spoiled, we all know that's one of the cards that's going to be used with Excalibur. The Azure Ridge Caravan, we're going to see people slapping Excalibur on there to create an indestructible minion. And it's going to be fun. I almost wish the type of the caravan was like camel because of that big prominent camel on it. But it's not. But anyhow, Azure Ridge Caravan, very high chance, I think, in the new state of Arthurian Legends where something has all elements and all minion types. It's very likely that that card's going to have a lot of flexibilities in Arthurian Legends that we don't know yet or expect. But certainly we can always see that we're going to add it to, or we're going to add Excalibur to it to create a pretty strong minion. After that, another card that a lot of people have considered, but I don't think it's got as much chatter as I thought it would, King of the Realm. Now, a problem with King of the Realm, of course, is that it's a 7 mana, 3 earth threshold card. But it lets you gain control of all mortals. And clearly, Arthurian Legends is going to have a ton of mortals. We've already had numerous ones previewed. So it doesn't make any sense that people aren't going to consider putting King of the Realm in there to spoil their opponent's plans and take control of all of their opponent's mortals. Now, getting rid of that king, eliminating him, is going to become another important strategy. Something that anyone who's wanting to play one of those new mortal decks with all those cool new knights is really going to have to think about, because the King of the Realm is going to ruin their day. So, that's another card. If you haven't gotten it yet, which you probably do because it's in the Earth Pre-Construct, I think. So you probably already got one. But if you want a foil one, probably want to go grab one now. After that, there are a number of spells. There are some that are obvious, some that aren't. The big one that obviously I have been advocating about is Mortality. In my opinion, Mortality has a very good chance of becoming a removal card for air that ends up with at least one copy in every deck, assuming that the mortal deck theme becomes a thing, becomes part of the meta, and in areas where it is a meta, I'm certain that Mortality will be in decks with air. Just one copy. It's very flexible in terms of how it can get rid of those mortal minions. Also, if they've stacked them, you can get rid of a couple with it. So I really think Mortality, which has one of the coolest playmats that's currently out there. I definitely think Mortality is going to start seeing some play in terms of maybe just a one card inclusion in air decks, assuming that those mortals become a significant theme. After that, the next card that I'm really pushing hard is Boil. Without a doubt. All of the water cards we're seeing, water looks like it's going to be very strong. And unless a whole bunch of cards from the other elements are being hidden from us that basically equal what we're seeing for water, I think water's game is going to be significantly stepped up. And because of that, we're going to see a lot more water sites, which means that Berry stops working. So, what's the natural choice to change out? There's a lot of Earth Fire decks. You see that a lot. So dropping that Berry for a single copy of Boil, which will kill every minion on a water site, seems like an easy swap to consider. Now, if the meta doesn't switch to water, if we don't see a lot of water like I expect, then yeah, it may not happen. But I really think we're going to see a lot more water decks. And I think the inclusion of a single Boil for anyone that's running fire as an element is definitely going to be a smart play as a quick removal that doesn't deal damage. Because we've already seen that Excalibur prevents all damage. There could be other cards that prevent damage. So having a straight up new removal in Boil seems like it could be a really good thing. Now, beyond that, another card that I don't think people are really thinking about, but I think could be fun, I think that Telekinesis could actually see some play. The ability to snatch and then pick up any artifact that's nearby sounds like it's going to be useful in this game, or in the new Arthurian Legends game. I mean, we've already seen Love Potion. The ability to swipe that from your opponent and just take it seems like that could be really strong. Now, the problem is once you use it, then, it's going to go to their cemetery. But if you don't use it, you can deny them that card, which could be part of their strategy because we already know the Love Potion deck is being built. Going to be built. So, Telekinesis. What other cool artifacts can we snatch? We can grab an Excalibur. Whatever, other things. And I think because of the way Excalibur is designed to not be used by an avatar, I think we're going to also see a number of other artifacts that may be designed for minions. So having Telekinesis around to swipe those things might be pretty cool. Might be worth a one card inclusion. If things get really crazy, maybe it'd be worth two. But with just a rock, I don't know if that'll be the case because just a rock is a much easier inclusion. But I think Telekinesis is more interesting because you might be able to use that thing against them rather than just handing them a rock. Now, other cards that I've really thought about, obviously Replication. The market has already been, the foil market has already been impacted in terms of Replication. People have been buying up Replication. Given the Love Potion that we've already talked about, people are going to want to replicate the Love Potion and, use it again. I'm sure there are other artifacts that we will want to use Replication on. So I think that card's going to see a lot of new life. In addition, it's water. And like I said, it looks like water is going to really up its game. So I think, not only are we going to see more water decks, but I think the inclusion of Replication for a lot of those decks is going to be pretty likely. So, Replication, again, another card, if you want to get it now, because I think once Arthurian Legends comes out, I think the prices of the foils, at least, is going to go up. Other, non-foil cards, I don't know how much of a shift we'll see, but if that could become a very important part of a deck, it may go up. You never know. Now, beyond that, another card that I don't think people are necessarily thinking about is Disintegrate. Disintegrate targets a minion and banishes it and every artifact that it's holding. And that's what's important. Banish. It doesn't go to their cemetery, it's banished. And given that we're already looking at potential recursion decks, well, you're probably not going to get a Love Potion because they're going to hand the Love Potion to their avatar, which cannot be disintegrated. If there are more artifacts like Excalibur that people start to use that really belong in the hands of a minion, Disintegrate is going to be key to getting rid of those minions and those artifacts and ensuring that they cannot come back out of that cemetery. So I really think that Disintegrate, which is a card that has pretty much been maligned overall and not used a lot, is definitely going to start seeing inclusion in some decks, maybe one copy here or there. So, that I just think Disintegrate's one of those cards that right now is going under the current and that no one's really thinking about, and it may definitely see some play. Now, finally, the last group of cards I want to cover, and the ones that many people have already talked about as well, are the mixes. Because the mixes allow you to ignore Threshold. Not only are they going to give you that big mana ramp, but they're going to allow you to ignore all of those multi-element thresholds that are going to cause you issues potentially. So I really think that the inclusion of all the mixes is possible in decks that use the elements associated with them. Because the ability to drop it out and just say, hey, I'm not worried about this threshold for this knight I'm playing, who's got, whatever, a water and a fire and 2 earth. Don't care. I'm going to blow my mix. He's out. So, the mixes, I really do think, and again, in terms of the market, people have already started to buy up these foils because I think people know that this is going to be a card that's going to be included in a lot of decks and that people are going to start using. But all the cards that I just talked about, I would recommend, if you really think you're going to want those cards, or you think that, they're going to be something that's going to be very worthwhile to have in your collection for play, and you're one of those foil folks, get your foils now. Because once Arthurian Legends hits, and we have the influx of new players that I fully expect to join this game and join our community, those cards are only going to go up in price, especially the foils, which, some can be pretty easy to come by, and there are some foils that are very low priced in beta. It's just ridiculous, some of the prices. But once we have more players seeking out some of those foils, they are not going to be as easy to come by. So get them now, wherever you go to buy your singles. I don't care where it is. I don't care if you go to Cold Foil Heroes. I don't care if you go to Game Grove. I don't care if you, go to TCG Player. I don't care if you use the marketplace on Discord. Whatever it is, whoever it is that you use to get your singles, go get them now. Because once Arthurian Legends comes out, there's not going to be any going back. So that's all I got for today, guys. Keep on contesting the realm, and I'll talk to you later.